Hey yo, thanks for tuning in to The Source, your source for celebrity news. Check this out. Aside from going on a 72-hour non-stop rant against Megan Thee Stallion after Megan dropped her diss song Hiss, it appears that Nicki Minaj also had time to scroll through social media and personally call out some TikTokers, YouTubers, and Instagrammers that were talking about her. Check out Nicki's interaction with this one chick on TikTok.
Okay, if you saw my video from this morning, you'll know that yesterday morning at 6:01 a.m., I got this DM from Nicki Minaj saying, "Once ugly disease allegedly is being paid to get uglier." And then I posted a video this morning asking all of you to decipher what the hell this means. And she has now commented on the post. So she commented on the video, "Allegedly they are sucking someone's D and being paid to try to tear down a tour. Sold out, sold out, sold out. Allegedly you have a disease?" What does this mean? What does this mean? And who is being paid? Because it's certainly not me. So there were so many comments from Nicki Minaj on my most recent post, which confirms that she was calling me an ugly disease in her DMs. And these comments are just as unhinged, and I am not sure what the hell she's talking about. So the first one reads, "Allegedly close your legs to married men. You are allegedly racist." The second one says, "You can't embarrass me because there's nothing you can say that people haven't heard, but now I'll share your alleged tea and the executives funding you. Allegedly, you do drugs with a married executive, allegedly, and God is about to pull you down to the pits of hell until you apologize, allegedly. Allegedly, stop allegedly sleeping with married men, allegedly. Your karma is near. My prophecies are always spot on. Repent, wicked woman. Repent." And then she writes, "I didn't delete anything. You are allegedly effing a married executive, allegedly. I'm taking a photo of this. Don't delete it, ugly." And then she writes, "Pink Friday 2, allegedly the executive whose alleged D you are allegedly sucking hates you. Stop deleting my comments. You are going to lose this one." I'm not deleting her comments. I've been posting videos of all of her comments. Then she says, "Barbs, this is call to action. It isn't funny that this ugly infested worm can't stop talking about the Pink Friday 2 tour. Report harassment, bullying, ugly." I think it's funny that she wants to have people report me for harassment and bullying while calling me ugly in the same sentence. And then she writes, "He told his wife about your bald spots, allegedly." Like, this is just becoming hilarious. What? "Allegedly, you have been effing and sucking a married man, allegedly. It was an alleged blind, deaf, dumb item. Allegedly, the executives, both male and female, make you crawl like a dog and scratch behind your flea-infested ears." And the last comment I could find from her reads, "Show your withered vagina that you sent to a married man, allegedly. You are unfit, allegedly."
Listen, I really hope that that's not really Nicki Minaj, who's over there in this chick's DMs making those discombobulated, crazy, unhinged posts. I mean, I hope it's somebody pretending to be Nicki, because if that is actually Nicki, then somebody in the camp, I don't care whether it's Kenny Petty or anybody else, really needs to get over there and take away that darn phone. And this is why. Nicki's 3-day social media tirade and calls to action against Megan Thee Stallion were enough to put some batteries in the back of some of the barbs and charge them up to the point where some of them were trying to find Megan Thee Stallion's mother's gravesite so they could go desecrate her grave. Check this out.
Now also, allegedly, they're saying that some of the barbs reportedly found out where Megan Thee Stallion's mother was laid to rest. They put the location and a caption that said, "You know what to do." So the actual cemetery told TMZ that they increased security. They called police and just added extra personal security on site to make sure that the gravesite is okay.
Okay, wait a minute. We gonna have to park right here for a second. Yo, what in the world is wrong with some of you barbs? I get it. You like Nicki Minaj, you like the way she raps, she's your favorite rapper. But that does not mean you turn into a zealot. I mean, some of y'all are acting like she's Jim Jones and y'all done drank that pink Kool-Aid. I mean, who in the world would go and desecrate somebody's grave just because somebody dropped a bar in a rap song that you didn't like? I mean, that right there is sick. And it also goes to show that some of y'all don't understand hip-hop and rap culture. Because part of hip-hop and rap culture is being able to spar back and forth bar for bar. And if your favorite rap star can't take one on the chin, maybe they need to get out the freaking ring. And if you're the type of fan who believes that it's okay to go desecrate somebody's mama grave because you didn't like what somebody said in a rap, then guess what? You're a soulless piece of ish that isn't even worthy of being stuck on the bottom of somebody's Nike sneaker. Let me say it like this. The cult of celebrity is going way too far, and some of y'all are wilding out. Because if you think that that's okay, then you got serious problems, and something in your brain is broke. Let me explain something to you real quick. Nicki Minaj is not the second coming of Christ. And if you think that it's okay to go out there and desecrate Megan Thee Stallion's mama's grave, or to even talk about that on the internet because Nicki Minaj got her feelings hurt, then you don't need to be listening to Pink Friday 2. What you need to do is go out there and find yourself a therapist that'll sit there and listen to you, because you have clearly lost touch with reality. Now, to be fair, I'm well aware that this doesn't apply to all of Nicki Minaj's fans. However, there's clearly an extremist group of terrorist barbs out there that are really out of control, and they're the ones that really need to hear this. Alright, terrorist barbs, are you listening? Your job as a fan is simply to be a fan. Let me see if I can explain this by using an example. Back in the day, Larry Bird and Magic Johnson had a fierce rivalry, and every time they met up on a basketball court, it was like a clash of the titans, and each one of them had a very loyal fan base. Some people rocked the purple and gold, and some people rocked the green and white. But what their fans didn't do is jump on the court in the middle of the game and try to score points for their favorite player. I mean, people weren't jumping out of the stands trying to like shoot threes for Larry and dribble a basketball down the court and make a no-look skip pass for Magic, because they understood that as fans, their job was to sit on the sidelines as spectators and simply enjoy the freaking game. And I'm saying this to say that some of you on both sides of the fence are way too immersed and personally involved in this Nicki Megan situation. And honestly, I really think that Nicki needs to come out and tell her barbs not to be messing with Megan's mother's grave. Because even though she didn't give them the direct order to do it, she knows her fans. And I know, somebody's gonna come in the comment section like, Sauce, Megan started it, and Nicki has every right to finish it. Listen, Megan Thee Stallion spitting a verse about a rapper who may be salty over Megan's Law is not the same as somebody posting her mom's gravesite on a website and then telling people to go do something to it. I'm sorry, I ain't buying it. Now, Nicki Minaj is not the only person who got all hot and bothered because of the Megan's Law bar that Megan's ghostwriter wrote for her. Because after the song dropped, Moniece Slaughter also took offense to the line, and she wrote, "Imagine your 7-year-old daughter is arred and murdered by your neighbor. You fight for legislation to be passed. He's put on death row, but the death penalty was abolished in the state. So his sentence was commuted to life without parole. So now you have to live without your baby. You have to live knowing that the killer is still alive and well. A law in your departed daughter's name and honor is passed. And now, for the first time in over a decade, your daughter is trending. Your wound is reopened because some yacht used it as a bar in a diss track." Shaking my head. If I were Megan Kinker's family, I would take every red cent from those single sales. I'd lawyer up and that video would be snatched from every platform. I'd sue for emotional damages, and I'd demand that that bar be changed. And I would gag order the artists. Period. Don't profit off of my pain or my child's passing. It's low as F. Well, after Moniece Slaughter said that online, apparently everybody wasn't necessarily in agreement with her, and some of them said a few things in the comment section that she wasn't feeling. So she turns around and dropped the following video. Check this out.
I don't give a fuck. I'm not on Billboard. I'm not at the Grammys. I don't got a record with this one and gotta keep it cute with this one. I don't care. I'm a regular motherfucking nobody according to y'all, so treat me as such. Don't get in my DMs when I voice my opinion like y'all voice yours. Keep that same energy. Go back in them posts and y'all get busy, bitch. Y'all got about a couple 100,000 motherfuckers to DM. That's what y'all need to spend y'all night doing. While I took a 2-hour nap and woke up to mayhem. Y'all need to get on this here motherfucking internet and y'all need to start sliding in everybody's DMs that said the same shit I said and threaten to rape them and kill their kids too. See how that works out for you.
Hold up, wait a minute, stop the presses. Did I just hear that right? Did she say that people jumped in her DMs and said that they were gonna harm her and her offspring because they didn't like the comment that she made about Megan Thee Stallion's bar with regard to Megan's Law? Yo, what is wrong with people? If somebody makes a comment on the internet that you disagree with, just say you disagree. And if you feel very strongly about it, explain why you disagree and then move on. There's no reason to be out here issuing threats. Alright, Moniece, continue.
Cause I'll tell you what, the first motherfucker I run into that said that shit in my DMs, I'll blow you back myself. I will blow you back myself. Now take that and go tell law enforcement. Or should I go outside and get the guys? They're off-duty cops. I'm sure they're watching this right the fuck now. Or should I go get my grandpa, the sergeant? Maybe I should go down to fucking 60s and go get my cousin. That's on you. Show up here and I'll let the law deal with you. Catch me in the street though, my nigga, and it's a different story and I'm coming a whole different way. So ask about me, bitch.
Listen, I can understand why she's upset, because there's no need to be jumping in her comment section or her DMs making vile comments about her and her kids because you disagree with her. There's a way in which you can disagree with people without getting nasty about it, and this is how you do it. I disagree with the premise of Moniece's original statement that the Kenka family should sue Megan Thee Stallion, because one, she made a true statement. Nicki Minaj's husband, Kenneth Petty, was in fact an unregistered sexual offender. I mean, it's a factual statement, and if you don't like it, that's on you. The truth is the truth. And two, if we start suing people based on double entendres, not only is hip-hop in jeopardy, but you might as well throw the whole Constitution out of the window, because the whole concept of free speech is done. Because this is what's gonna happen. Let's say Megan Kenka's family takes Megan Thee Stallion to court, because she said these bees mad at Megan, but they really mad at Megan's Law. Right? And let's say that the Kenkas win. That's going to set up a very horrible precedent for hip-hop, because the next thing that's going to happen is that Dale Earnhardt's family is then going to take Jay-Z to court, because Jay-Z once said, when your Earnhardt is me, eventually you hit a big wall. And if you remember, Dale Earnhardt crashed into a very big wall. But that's not going to be the end of the lawsuits, because then the family members of some of the people who passed away in the World Trade Center are going to sue Biggie's estate, because Biggie said, now I'm in the limelight cause I rhyme tight, time to get paid, blow up like the World Trade. It's gonna be a never-ending barrage of lawsuits based on wordplay. One person's gonna be like, I was offended by that simile you used. And then somebody else gonna be like, I had a problem with your metaphor. And then somebody else is gonna be like, I don't appreciate that alliteration. It's gonna be a mess, and before you know it, rappers aren't gonna be able to say nothing, and they gonna just turn into like real thuggish, rough, gangsta pantomimes. Nah, but on the real, you gotta understand that free speech is fragile. Playing with free speech is like playing that game Jenga. You pull out the wrong brick and everything collapses and comes falling down. I mean, it's over with. So some of y'all, like Moniece Slaughter, really need to start thinking about the long-term effects of what you're saying before you jump on the internet and just start saying it. Because encouraging Megan Kenka's family to sue Megan Thee Stallion over a double entendre could have some serious long-term effects that you're not even thinking about. In other words, you can't strip away everybody's civil liberties because of some people's sensitivities. Y'all start doing that, and like 2-3 years from now, America gonna be looking like Germany in 1939. Now, what I do believe that you can do is ask some of these rappers to be a little bit more thoughtful and sensitive when it comes to their wordplay. And because Megan Kenka's family did come out and publicly say that they were offended by Megan Thee Stallion's use of like the phrase in her diss track, then what Megan should do is like get up with the family and offer to help them promote their initiative so that more unregistered sex offenders are taken off the street because of Megan's Law. I mean, for real. Every dispute does not have to be handled through a lawsuit. Now, check this out. Do you remember when Crazy Bone from Bone Thugs and Harmony read a letter that exposed the fact that there was a secret meeting that was held back in the day where the powers that be basically invited a select group of hip-hop artists in to discuss the fact that they plan to use hip-hop and those hip-hop artists to fuel a hidden agenda that would power the prison industrial complex? Source, can you please play a little bit of that clip so we can jog everybody's memory?
Source says, hello. After more than 20 years, I finally decided to tell the world what I witnessed in 1991, which I believe was one of the biggest turning points in popular music and ultimately American society. So he says, between the late 80s and early 90s, I was what you may call a decision maker with one of the more established companies in the music industry. I came to Europe in the early 80s and quickly established myself in the business. The industry was different back then, since technology and media weren't accessible to people like they are today. The industry had more control over the public and had the means to influence them any way it wanted.
Right.
This may explain why in early 1991, I was invited to attend a closed-door meeting with a small group of business insiders to discuss rap music's new direction. Rap music's new direction.
Yeah.
Quickly after this meeting began, one of the industry colleagues, who shall remain nameless like everybody else, thanked us for attending. He then gave the floor to a man who only introduced himself by first name and gave no other details about his personal background. I think he was the owner of the residence, but that was never confirmed. He briefly praised all of us for the success we had achieved in our industries and congratulated us for being selected as part of this small group of decision makers. At this point, I began to feel slightly uncomfortable and the strangeness of this gathering. The subject quickly changed as the speaker went on to tell us that the respective companies we represented had invested in a very profitable industry, which could become even more rewarding with our active involvement.
Damn.
He explained that the companies we worked for had invested millions into the building of privately owned prisons, and that our positions of influence in the music industry would actually impact the profitability of these investments. Then he says, I remember many of us in the group immediately looking at each other in awe and confusion. At the same time, I didn't know what a private prison was, but I wasn't the only one. Sure enough, someone asked what these prisons were and what any of this had to do with music. We were told that these prisons were built by privately owned companies who received funding from the government based on the number of inmates. The more inmates, the more the government would pay these prisons. It was also made clear to us that since these prisons are privately owned, as they become publicly traded, we'd be able to buy shares. Most of us were taken back by this. Again, a couple of people asked what this had to do with us. At this point, my industry colleague who had first opened the meeting took the floor again and answered our questions. He told us that since our employees had become silent investors in this prison business, it was now in their interest to make sure that these prisons remain filled. Our job would be to help make this happen by making music which promote criminal behavior, rap being the music of choice.
Listen, that was just a brief excerpt of the letter that's talking about the secret meeting. Well, anyways, I brought this up to say that the other day, somebody jumped online and accused Ice Cube of being in that secret meeting. Atara Israel said, I believe Cube likely has direct knowledge of the secret meeting that Crazy Bone is referring to in the above long clip. Now, it was almost like Ice Cube was secretly waiting in the cut for somebody to mention his name, because he jumped in the comment section and he was like, opinions are like a-holes. Everybody has one and they all stink. What evidence do you have to make a statement like that? Well, after Ice Cube responded, a whole bunch of people came in the comment section and they had something to say. One person said, whether there was a meeting or not, we can all agree that there's an agenda being pushed on our community. And then somebody else said, NWA was absolutely the turning point in rap. It went from being uplifting and positive in the culture to being corrosive and destructive to our youth and community. And then somebody else came through and said, he knows something because he responded. He should have just left this alone. Now we on your back, Calvin. You and your barbershop. Yo, let me know in the comment section, do you think that Ice Cube and NWA were like in that secret meeting? And if they were in that secret meeting, do you think that they took the oath and took some of them stocks? Let me know what you think in the comments. I mean, personally, I don't believe that Ice Cube was in that meeting. And if someday I find out that he was, I'm telling you, that day wouldn't be a very good day. Listen, let me know what you think about Nicki Minaj jumping on TikTok and going back and forth with her critics. Also, let me know what you think about some of her fans threatening to desecrate Megan Thee Stallion's mom's grave. And let me know what you think about Moniece Slaughter saying that Megan Kinker's family really needs to sue Megan Thee Stallion. Let me know what you think about all of that in the comments. And while you're down there leaving a comment, be sure to like and subscribe to the channel and share this video with your friends. Hey yo, thanks for tuning in to Celeb Source, your source for celebrity news. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Peace.